Okay, everyone, welcome. Thanks for joining. My name is Serina, and I'm an artistic educator with Matrix. And today our class is on Express Balayage. And I'm going to show you a quick, easy way to get balayage on your clients for summer. And so even just a sun-kissed look with a seamless blend and using our products. And I'm going to show you one of our clay lighteners with Matrix that you can use along with your lightener and developer as well. So who's ready to get started? If you guys are excited and ready to be here, give me a reaction in the chat box, or you can keep yourself on mute or take yourself off because we have a small class today. So we'll just go ahead and get started. So one of the trends right now is balayage. You just kind of see everybody having it, different colors of balayage. And so right now here I have done one on my mannequin, and you can see how it's just a seamless blend, a natural look. And all we did was a face frame, and that's what I'm going to show you today is just a face frame balayage would just brighten up the front. So we've already done it once on her, and she said she wants to go a little bit lighter. So we're just going to go over the same method the same way as we did before and just brighten this up for her a little bit today. So that's the look that we're going for, just the sun-kissed look for her. And so we're going to talk about sectioning and placement and tension and all the things you need to know to get a good balayage going. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the hairline, because that's where we're going to start, is with her hairline. And how many of you guys have done balayage before? Can I just see a show of hands of how many of you guys are doing that right now? Okay, cool. So what is one of the things that you like about balayage? If you just want to type it in the chat box or just come off mute. What is one of your favorite things about it?
I love the creativity.
Yeah, that's probably one of my favorite things too, is because there's so many different techniques of balayage that you can do. And so that's where your creativity as an artist comes out, and you get to play with it. And hopefully you have a nice client that's just like, just do whatever you want. Because that's like the funnest kinds to do for me with balayage, because it really lets your creativity come out. So we're going to talk about the hairline. And so I've made a little chart here. Can everybody see that okay? So since we are just working on the hairline, we're going to start with where we're going to highlight. So we're going to start with the peaks, and that's where we're going to be painting today. But we also want to know about these valleys, because that's where it's going to be away from the face and where it's going to have the most depth. So we need to know where the depth is coming from and where we want to highlight from to give it the most dimension and the most pop with the color. So does anybody use this technique already whenever they're doing their balayage? Or is this something new? If it's new, you can type N in the chat box. All right, we'll just post that right there. So, okay. So when we talked about that depth there, I made another little chart where the first point is going to have the most contrast. So if we have our section of hair and we're doing a V shaped, we are just going to paint the one side of the hair strand. So we'll just paint along. So here would be our section. So we would just paint the one side of it. So just kind of like this, but on the hair. Can everybody see that okay? So we'd just be painting one, and that's going to give you the most depth against that highlighted piece. And the second one is going to have medium contrast, where you really see the V shape in the application. So the natural hair and then where the highlight is going. So we're gonna again have our section here, but again, we're gonna paint in the V shape of our section, and that's gonna give us the medium contrast. So we'll have like a highlight here, and then the medium contrast in the middle. And then the third point is going to give us the maximum amount of lightness. And this is more like a W um, in the V-shaped form. And so this is going to give us the most amount of lightness because it's going to have a lot of lightener on the hair. So this is going to be the brightest pieces that are going to give us the maximum amount of lightness. So that's it for sectioning. Does anybody have any questions about that? Let me just check the chat real quick.
Nope, looks good so far.
Okay, well, I'll leave that there for you because
I like the vision.
oh, thank you. So I was gonna ask you guys, I was gonna leave it up to you. Who wants to see which point of lightness that you wanted to play with? Has anybody not done a certain one and wanted to see a specific one? Let me know because I'll
What was the first one you said? What kind was that one? The red one?
first the most contrast. So you'll have the most depth against the lightness.
Okay.
Do that
Can
one.
I see that? Can you do that one?
Yeah, that'll be great. Okay, so now we're going to talk about what products we're going to be using for this. So Matrix has, and I'm going to share my screen with you, and I can't see you guys, so just hop off mute if you have any questions. Can everybody see that okay?
Oh, wait, hold on. I need to navigate this little tablet I have.
That's okay. I can't see in the chat box right now, so if you could just let me know if you can see the slide. Let's see. You got it. Chris, can you see it? Just hop off mute if you can see it.
Yeah.
You can see that? Okay. All right. Well, while you try to look for it, I'll just go ahead and get started and you can just give me a reaction if you can see it. Okay. So Lightmaster's got different technologies for different lighteners, but today we're going to be working with its newest one that I don't have a slide for, but this is a Lightmaster with the bonder inside of it. And I'll just start with talking about this one for a little bit. This one already has the bonder inside of it, so it's going to save you an extra step with having to put a bonder inside of your formula, and it's going to just save that extra step. It'll save you extra money, and it's just a beautiful product. And if you haven't tried it, I hope you guys can get some of it and try it soon. That's actually what we used on her, and we used that with 30 volume the first go around with her. And so what I like about it is it gives it extra conditioning and it helps maintain the integrity of the hair. Although the other light masters have conditioning agents in there, this one's just got a little bit of boost with that bonder inside of it. And then
So is that kind of like, oh, I'm sorry. I
fine.
was trying to raise my hand. So is that kind of like, there's other products out there. I don't know their names, but I know there's products out there. So is that kind of like that one product that they sell at, like the step 3 at Sephora, where it's kind of protecting the hair but it's already inside of your Light Master with Matrix?
Yeah, so it's compatible to that. So it's so like if you had the bonder already and you had your lightener, you know how you have to pour the bonder in the lightener, and then so this is actually saving you a step because it's already combined together. Does that make sense?
I absolutely love that idea because time is money and I don't have time to be trying to
Yeah, it's
I love the idea that it's inside of your lightener. So I'm excited to use your product.
Yeah, it's a great invention. So that is just and it's and it also is compatible to work with the oil additive and the clay lightener. And so those are the clay lightener is what we're going to use today on our balayage because it's going to encapsulate the hair so it gives it a nice glide. So you'll have that also with the conditioning and the bonder. It's really beautiful to keep the integrity of the hair. So these are the portfolio overview. So if you guys want to take a screenshot of this, this is going to be your go-to with what you want to use with whatever you're going to discuss with your client as far as what you're trying to achieve for the final look and if their hair's integrity is even able to highlight. So this is just a great portfolio overview to refer back to. And then this one is the one, the Lightmaster 8, but I showed you this picture because we are doing the clay additive. And so it's going to be creamy. It's going to stay on your brush. It's going to stay put on the hair and it's formulated for open air techniques. So for Gina, you said that you liked to save time and to make money. And this is going to really be nice because it also saves you time on not having to put your color inside of a foil or any kind of a saran wrap or cotton. So you're saving money on those tools, and you're also um, saving time with not having to add that extra step in your application. So you will be excited about that.
Oh yeah.
And then so this is what our formula is going to be. We're going to have the Lightmaster 8 with the bonder inside it, and we're going to add the clay additive, and we're going to use 30 volume developer on our lady today. And these are the usages. So we're going to have equal parts. We're going to do 1 scoop of lightening powder with 1 scoop of the freehand additive and the 1 ounce of our 30 volume cream developer. So does anybody have any questions before I show you and get started on the technique?
Nope. Yeah, I think I put a question in the chat box. I'm still
Okay.
trying to learn how to use it.
I could just see it because I had my PowerPoint up. So it says if you share your screen, you
Oh,
will.
oh,
Okay.
it's one of those. Yeah.
Okay. So I only have like one device on, so I gotta do that. Okay, so I've already pre-blended my lightener, 1 ounce with a 1 scoop of the clay additive. And I like to mix them before I add the developer in there, just because once you put the developer in there, you're gonna have to work harder. So that'll also save you an extra step. So then we're gonna do our 1 ounce of Matrix Cream Developer 30 volume. And we'll mix that until it gets into a creamy consistency, and I'll show you how it stays on the brush for easy application. And while I'm mixing this, does anybody have any questions or experiences or anything that they wanted to add? All right. Well, the chat box looks good. So since nobody has any questions. Okay, so that's how easy it is to mix the 3 things together. You don't have to, you've already got your lightener with the bonder inside of it. You have the clay additive and the 30 volume developer, and you just mix them together. And so I just wanted to show you before I start painting, the consistency of it should be so it's like a clay and it stays on your brush. So there's no drippage, there's no like messiness. It's like a clay and it just stays on the hair and you have a really good glide down the hair for even application. All right, so we got that mixed. Let me get my glove on. Okay, does anybody have any questions about brushes? I do like to use this type of brush for around the hairline just because it's smaller and I have more control. But when I really want to do a big amount of painting, I like to go with this size of a brush. And if you can see the bristles, it holds a lot of product. So you can have a lot of product on your brush at one time and get through your application really quickly. So I'm gonna scoot her here. Can everybody see her okay? All right, so I'm just gonna take 4 of the quadrants and I'm just gonna stick with her natural hairline because usually where the natural parting is where the sun kissed is gonna naturally highlight your hair anyway. And so you really wanna have it where it's, you know, bright, where the sun hit it so that it looks natural. And I like to just start with the first quadrant here in the front left section. And I usually just clip this out of the way. And just to kind of save time here, going back to the peaks and valleys, the peak is going to be the points on the hairline where you see the points. And then the valleys are going to be the little curves of the hairline. Can everybody see that okay? Does anybody have any questions about that? Why that's important is because that's where you're going to see the most amount of lightness, where the sun's going to come out and hit it the hardest. So that's why we do it on the peaks. So I'll clip this out of the way and we'll just start with this. And you wanted to do the one point where you see the most contrast. So we'll start here on this peak here. And basically we take our section. We want to take a little bit of a thin section, but depending on the client's porosity and the density of the hair, this is, if you separated it and you saw how that fold naturally against the other section, that's a pretty good amount of hair that we'll start with. So I usually use a balayage board just to have when I get to the ends. And I like to hold it with my forefinger and my thumb and a good amount of tension, not too hard. I don't want to pull her. And we want to have it lower. We don't want to pull up here. And we just want to keep it like right here in a natural position on the head. Okay, so then get my application and start painting. So since we're just doing the one point, we're just gonna do the front side. And I like to start towards the middle and then kind of work up so that I can blend to the scalp, because you don't want to put product on the scalp, but you just want to put it right up to it. And then this is where my board comes in. I pinch my hair and place it on the board, and then I can go down and make sure that it's really saturated. And I like to saturate it a lot more on the ends because that's where the sun is gonna have it the lightest. And then you just lay it down. So now with the clay additive, that is going to encapsulate the hair color. It'll be able to process without having to worry about it getting on the hair below. So you can just let it hang. Next, we'll go to the next peak. This one's a little bigger, so we'll be able to see this one a little better. So I take my subsection from my section and So again, we're just going to apply color mid shaft down. Make sure that it's really nice and saturated. And you want to go in a circular motion. So you don't like press in like you're putting it in a foil. And you want to make sure that you really kind of go over it a couple of times to get it really saturated, and then work your way up to the front. Oops. And then I get my board, and then I can saturate it all the way down to the ends really well. Does anybody have any questions on that so far? Okay. So I'll do one more, and then I'll show you again one more real quick. So this one we'll do here. Now I did this on purpose. I made it messy at the root because I want to show you, because sometimes we get in a hurry and we like start rushing and we like, you know, accidentally like get hair like color right there at the hairline. So what I do is I take a brush. I always make sure I have a dry brush on hand, and you just feather it down and smooth out any harsh lines, because anything that you see that's harsh is going to stay harsh and it's going to get messy, and nobody wants a messy, blotchy balayage, right? Balayage, right? So here we go. So as you can see, can everybody see that okay? The additive has kept it dry from touching onto the other hair. So you don't have to worry about that. You got your time saver with the bonder already pre-mixed in, and you have the time saver with not having to use any foils. So this can process room temperature up to 50 minutes. And so I will have her posted on my Instagram later so that you guys can see the final results and be able to see that later. So we just have a few more minutes here. So just a few hot tips. You want to paint diagonally on the hair, never horizontal. And you can saturate. Make sure that you have it really covered with color, because then if it's not, then you're going to get like brassiness and uneven results. So make sure that it's evenly saturated. And then you can separate your sections off with cotton strips or saran wrap, but if you you don't need to, then there's your time saver there. And you can also do a little bit of back combing if you are too nervous to get it like right at the root. You can back comb for that. And the smaller sections you take, the most maximum lift you'll get. So the smaller the sections, the brighter it'll be. So that's it for the class. And if anybody doesn't have any questions, I'll just get this finished up, and then I'll post it on my Instagram, and you guys can see it, the final results, and hopefully you'll be trying the new products that I showed you today.
Thank
So
you so much. This was a great class. I really enjoyed it.
all right, well, thanks for being here, and I can't wait to share anything else. That if you think of anything later, just let me know. I'll share with you my Instagram, and you can let me know and post it on Instagram. I love to see your work. All right.
Yay, I'm excited. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Bye, guys.
Bye.